Okay, so just like the rest of the parts of the body, of the head, the eyes comes in all sorts of variety as well. You have Asian eyes, hunter eyes, I don't know what, almond eyes, every sort of shape. And usually there are a few things that is common amongst all eyes, and a few things that you really need to keep in mind. First of all is that the edge of the eye, this is always going to have a fat pad. And this fat pad, it acts in various ways. It changes the shape of the eye when you change your expression. So if you look at me over here, let me make myself bigger. And if you notice my eyes, then currently they're round at the top. Okay. And I have this fat pad right here. So we all have this fat pad. And as soon as I become angry, okay, I become angry, then the shape of the eye changes. And that is because the fat pad, it actually pushes down on the eyelid and it makes it relatively straight. I have an example for this. Let me show you. So this dude right here, you can see that his upper eye is straight. And that is not because that is his eye shape. That is because he's frowning. He has a serious expression. And you can actually see the fat pad. Let me show you the fat pad. Why can't I show the fat pad? Okay, my drawing tool is not working. Okay, yeah, it's working now. So you can see this fat pad right here. Okay. And also you have to notice that this part is mostly inside. This doesn't have fat pad. It's actually sort of a hollow place and it will catch shadows most of the times. So Asians eyes are totally different. They have a totally different face structure. These are my favorite eyes, by the way. But I will show you how to make them as well. We will turn our character into an Asian guy as well. So they don't really have. Okay, let's just discuss the eye sockets first. So we have this eye socket and the eye sits inside. Some people have shallow eye sockets, like this girl over here. Her eyes are quite shallow. They're not deeply embedded in the in the eye socket. So this dude has his eyes quite deep in the eye socket. You can notice by these shadows. And Cillian Murphy, I don't know what the correct pronunciation is. His eyes are actually quite deep inside his eye socket. That's why they always have this sort of a shadow on top. And it just looks very scary when he's playing Tommy Shelby. His serious face, it just moves you. Also, another thing to notice is the upper eyelid exposure. So some people have very less upper eyelid exposure, as you can see over here, as you can see over here. And some people have a lot of upper eyelid exposure. You can see in this case. Okay. But usually you will find less upper eyelid exposure in faces. And the Asian guys, they don't even have an upper eyelid. They have very interesting skin that covers up their eyelids. It's very interesting. So yeah, that out of the way, there's another thing that I want to show you. And for that, I have loaded this head that we have in the source files. So the eyeball is round, obviously. It's a ball. And the eye, it wraps around this ball. So the eye is always going to be in a curvature. Some people, they might make it very flat. Some people, they might not make it round enough, but it's very round. It wraps around the eye. And also the eyelid, it needs to have thickness like this. Another detail is that the upper eyelid, it overlaps the lower eyelid. So let me see if we can see the example here. Yeah. See, the upper eyelid will overlap the lower eyelid. It's going to be above it. You can see it over here as well. So that out of the way, let's sculpt eyes on our face. Switching over to the graphic tablet. And simply what you want to do is just smooth this area a bit. Okay. And let's just make a ball thingy for the eyeball. Okay. Make sure that it is round. So we're just roughly making some sort of shape for the eyeball. That is to ensure a good curvature when we add the eyelids. Okay, so you can see that it's really round, it's looking very nice. What you want to do now is add the fat pad. Let's move to the reference, the head reference that we have for the course. Yeah, let's add the fat pad. So just simply with this clay strip brush, add this fat pad. It's going to overlap the eye a bit. It's okay. And then what you want to do is just smooth everything. So add it and then smooth it. Okay. Smooth it. Smooth, smooth, smooth. What you're going to notice is that you'll see some sort of an interesting shape now. It's almost as if his eyes are closed. So you can use the draw sharp brush and you can also just mark this area. So you're going to feel like your character has closed eyes. And this is a good way to measure the proportion. It looks okay. I think we can extend this a bit. Let's smooth it again. And on the edge, what you can do is just carve a bit of a shape like this. It looks good. It also helps with this silhouette on the side. Just carve it a bit and then smooth it out. The cheekbone is way too ahead. You can see it on the side view. Let me find the side view. Okay, so the cheekbone is going to be a bit behind right here. Now let's add the details for the eyes. And for this, we're going to need a lot of detail. So just add a lot of remesh value. Make it very fine. And what you want to do now is use the draw sharp brush. Carve in a shape like this. Just remesh once again. And now depending on your reference, depending on how much upper eyelid do you want to expose, you're going to start adding the upper eyelid. So the way you're going to add the upper eyelid is just use the draw sharp brush, hold control, and then follow an eye shape. Let's follow this eye shape. Okay. You basically just think of this as drawing on your sculpt. So go to the front view, smooth this, and then simply hold control on the draw sharp brush and then make this shape. Make the shape of the eye that you're trying to get. So this is your upper eyelid. And for the lower eyelid, you do something similar. Make sure that you start below this, okay? Because you want the upper eyelid to overlap the lower eyelid. Now we sculpt this again. We follow the shape. And this is the shape of the eye. So you have a rough shape for the eye. What you want to do now is dig this. So just dig this really in, because we're going to insert the eyeball over here. And then once we have the eyeball, we're just going to wrap our eye around the eyeball. So just dig this. This should be enough. So let's go outside sculpt mode. Let's go and create a UV sphere. Make it small. And the eyeball is actually smaller than the eye, the whole eye. Because we have this shape, the tear duct, we have this shape. The actual eyeball is going to be just around here. This looks fine. Let's go to the side view. So I'm holding Control and 3. Okay, so these faces are overlapping. Let's just hide them. Press Control 3. And the reason I'm pressing Control 3 is because I want to watch the left side of the character. If you were on the right side, you would just press 3. Currently, my eye is on the left side, so I'm pressing Control 3. And then just move it over here. And similar to the lips, the eye has a common feature that the upper eyelid is going to be ahead of the lower eyelid. Let me try to find a reference. Face, side, view. So you can see that the eye has an angle like this. This dude also has a lot of upper eyelid exposure. So you can see that the eye has this angle. Upper eyelid is ahead of the lower eyelid. You can see it over here as well. It has some sort of an angle. So that is what we want to capture as well. Just move this eye and try to get some thickness, even thickness around the eye. Also for the bottom, let's just move it forward. Another thing that you can do over here is, let me find the option. I always forget where it is. So click this menu and lock. Yeah, just lock the X and the Z axis. Now what this does is you can only pull forward. So it won't move up, it won't move down, it won't really destroy the shape of your eye that you made. You'll just push it forward. It's only moving this on the Y axis. So this way you can sculpt without really worrying about it. But I don't really use it. You can use it if you want. I just like to eyeball things. And since this is the generic shape, it won't really affect the shape of the eye. If you were sculpting someone for likeness, then you want to lock this. Then you really want to lock this because you don't want to move the eye. Also, this part, we're going to push this in. Okay, so that it wraps around. Also, this eyelid is looking very weird, very round. So just using the scrape brush, I'm going to flatten this area. Also, the upper eyelid, you can use a scrape brush to flatten it. And the tear duct, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be super accurate. You can just make a flat area like this and then use the draw sharp brush in inverse and then just make this sort of a shape. You'll capture the tear duct. So just use let's just right click and then smooth. Let's use the mirror modifier. Let me move this aside. So just use the mirror modifier, not multi-res, mirror, and then copy it on the other side. You see, we're starting to have a very nice shape for the eye. Important detail you should add is the lower orbit of the skull that is present inside the head. So you just want to simply hint it. So just add it and then smooth it. Let's remesh once. And then we run into these problems. Just use the crease brush and then tighten this area. Also, you can use the crease brush in inverse to tighten this eyelid area. So you see, we have made a generic face. In the next video, we're going to do a final pass. We're going to add some of the muscles like the chewing bone. We're going to add the bump in the head. We're going to adjust some things here and there. But right now, if you've made it this far,